What's up, armchair fandomaniacs? This is DaRealLastJedi coming to you with another video. In this video, we're going to be discussing Moon Knight Season 1, Episode 2. We're going to have a spoiler review of that. It's been a couple weeks. We've been behind on these videos, but before we get started, go ahead and hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, comment in the comment section below if you like our videos, and hit the notification bell. And without delaying, wasting any more time, let's bring in our guests and then we'll get started. I should change the music on your intro video to Yakety Sax.
Yeah. Oh, it's a beautiful day on Korriban. It's a beautiful day on Korriban. A beautiful day on Korriban. Won't you be my apprentice?
Yeah, that would be great, man. Have you dressed up in a Sith robe, coming into the Mr. Rogers theme music, sitting down changing your Sith boots and tossing them from one hand to the other.
Hey, man, don't be thinking the theme of Yakety Sax, which is probably the Jedi theme that you really should be using instead of what you already used there.
Yeah. Yeah, well, if you had a creative bone in your body, you could put all this stuff together yourself. So.
Look, man, if I wanted to get creative bones, I would just go out to one of the daggone tubes out here on Korriban and get one of them. That's all the creativity I need, sir.
Well, I will say this for you, man.
You speak for me. That's scary.
You give a whole. You take the high ground being overrated to a whole new level.
Well,
From a moral perspective, you have no high ground. That's for sure.
Well, I'm on such a high level, being the rest of the set, that there's no parallel to us. But, bottom line is, big thanks for bringing that up. It's coming soon to the Armchair Fandom merchandise store, which is yet to be created. There's going to be a shirt available called The High Ground is Overrated, DarthPane. Please feel free to buy more quantities of that than anything else. You're welcome.
Moon Knight, Season 1, Episode 2.
Right.
I have to admit, man, I was really excited after the first episode, and we're behind getting these videos out, so we won't talk about anything with Episode 3 in this particular video, but I think the first episode kind of shot us up here with these expectations, and then it just leveled out right there. I don't feel like it's I haven't got any more excitement about this series after that initial first episode. I'll be interested. I haven't seen episode 4 yet. I'll be interested in checking that out later tonight
Now,
as we're recording this video for future
I will
upload.
say the last, where this episode starts off was in the aftermath of the Battle of the Bathroom. The last time I saw anything involving the Battle of the Bathroom was a WCW pay-per-view in 1998.
That was a great scene at the end of the first episode, man. You can call it the Battle of the Bathroom if you want to. It was still a great scene. But episode 2 picks up with the Steven character. For those of you that don't know or haven't watched the series yet, this character is a split personality character. We've been introduced to 2 of these characters so far, Mark Specter and this character named Steven, who works at this Egyptian relic museum, so to speak. But Steven, in episode 1 ends with this, I guess it's a, what's the word I'm looking for? It's a character that works underneath this Egyptian god Hammett, and it comes out of the wall. Yeah, it chases him down the hallway, and he finally ends up turning into Moon Knight, and because he has to turn over power of his body to the Mark Specter character, and he ends up fighting him. Well, the next morning, it's back to being Steven in control of this man's body, and he runs into that museum to try to prove or show the buddy that works the surveillance footage what happened the night before, but the creature that was chasing him is not in the footage. So he just looks like he's crazy, of course.
Well, you think somebody's crazy that has to shackle themselves to the bed? No, it's not crazy at all, is it?
Yeah, shackle the bed, take the door, and put sand around the bed. So where does it pick up from there? He goes back to his apartment, and this woman he was talking to in the first episode named Layla, played by May Kalamawi, I guess is how you say her name. She shows up. She's actually married
to Mark
I don't
Specter.
want anybody. I don't want anybody to get confused. This is all the same person, but it's split personality. She's married to the Mark Specter side of this character, and when she shows up, it's the Steven side of this character, who he doesn't know who she is.
Yeah.
So, but they start piecing things together, and like we was talking earlier, these 2 cops show up to arrest him for what happened at the museum.
Yeah, they show up, and it turns out they're cult members of Arthur Harrow, who's the avatar for the what's the name of the Egyptian god he's serving? I forget her name.
I think it's pronounced Ammit.
Ammit, okay. And so they show up, and basically they give him the once over, and they take him to meet Arthur Harrow, and basically he goes through his origin, basically, and talks about how he can relate to Mark Specter because he actually did what he was doing right now, working for Khonshu.
Yeah.
That's a twist.
Yeah, so they have this conversation. It's basically the conversation that you have with somebody where you say, is it okay if you could to kill Hitler when he was a baby, or do you have to wait until he commits all these atrocious crimes before you can pass judgment on him? That's the 2 different philosophies behind these 2 Egyptian gods that are controlling these 2 guys. Khonshu wants to pass out judgment and deal with things after they happen, and Arthur Harrow has fallen under the spell of this Egyptian god pronounced Ammit, who's going to be played by Sophia Danu in future episode. But that's the difference in their philosophies as Egyptian gods. One wants to permit the sin from happening, and the other one wants to judge the sin after it's taken place.
It's ironic you're having all these different gods appear, because think about it. We had talked in a previous video about how Gore the God Butcher is going to be appearing in the Thor movie. Well, all these different gods appearing. You got the one we talked about, the Olympus gods. We talked about of course the Norse gods, and now you've got what we're having in Moon Knight here. I wonder if there could be a tie-in with the actual movie coming up by the time the season's over with.
I hadn't thought about that, but that's a good question. I would say it's probably highly likely that we might get a. I don't know if they'll make a full appearance, but we might get like a post-credit scene in Thor: Love and Thunder with something tying back into Moon Knight.
Yeah.
Or we might just see a cameo appearance of one of these Egyptian gods or something.
Yeah.
I don't know exactly how they would play it out, but I could definitely see it tying in.
Apparently, the guy that's doing the voice of Khonshu is a pretty famous guy. I can't remember his name, but apparently he's pretty famous. He's done a lot of different works, and I recognize his face, but I just can't remember his name.
I know who he is, but I can't. It's F. Murray Abraham, and he has. Hold on a second. I'm gonna look up his what he's been in.
He's been in a lot, from my understanding.
Yeah, he's been in a whole lot of stuff over the years. He's just doing the voice work for this one for Khonshu. Right. There was some. He was in a lot more popular stuff back in the day. Yeah, he's done all kinds of stuff. Star Trek Insurrection. I know he's been in more popular stuff than the stuff I'm seeing here.
He's been in a lot of movies too. I remember seeing him back, like you say, back in the 80s and 90s. He's appeared in everything.
Yeah, I'm not going to spend too much time looking at this filmography of his, but yeah.
But he's done a lot, though. I just the point is he's done a lot. Very accomplished.
Yeah, he's one of them actors that if you say his name, most people's not going to know who he is. But he's highly thought of in that world. That all these actors, most of them are nuts, but right. he's pretty popular in that world. Most people think a lot about him, but if you mention his name to people, they wouldn't know who he is. Anyways, Moon Knight picks up after this conversation Stephen has with Arthur Harrow, played by Ethan Hawke, Oscar Isaac playing Mark Specter, and Stephen, Moon Knight. After they have their conversation, there's kind of this showdown that they have, and Mark Spector's trying to get Stephen to give him control of this person, so that he can summon the power of Khonshu. And Stephen decides he's going to summon the power of Khonshu himself. But when he summons the power, instead of it turning into Moon Knight, he turns into this character known as Mr. Knight. So when he does his hero landing and lands on the ground, he's dressed in this all-white three-piece suit with this white hood over his face. And he can't fight. He has one moment where he punches this character that's chasing him, but that's about the only blow he gets in. After that thing rams him into a car, he willingly gives power back over to Mark Spector.
Yeah, so Mark, like you said, Mark Spector had to finish the fight for him, so to speak, because he knows how to fight. Mark Spector, my understanding, is a mercenary. And, basically he's the kind of guy that you seem like Khonshu would want to be his avatar as far as taking care of business, more so Ethan Hawke's character, in my opinion.
And then once he shows up as Moon Knight, the action was really good. He gets this creature chasing across the rooftops, and there's one moment where they're jumping back and forth from rooftop to rooftop, and this creature's chasing him, that he switches over to one rooftop, and you hear him say, "I got you." And about that time, he jumps off the roof, and that thing chases him. At the same time, he jumps off too, and Moon Knight turns around and grabs him, and then impales him on the top of this, looks like a church steeple. And about that time, he's got these two crescent moon weapons that stay in his emblem, and he had used one of those, and he reaches out and it comes back to him and he catches it with the crescent moon in the back, the actual crescent moon in the background. And this show's really well shot. It looks more like a movie, I think, than a television series.
Well, those weapons of his kind of remind you of Batman's batarangs, and it makes sense because basically Moon Knight is allegedly the Marvel Batman, so it makes sense.
Yeah, yeah. So, any other thoughts on this episode?
I thought it was a good episode, and I agree with you that the shoot quality is definitely looks like that has the appearance of a movie. It's just like you say, I know little to nothing about the character. I'm learning as we go. And so basically, there's stuff about the character I like, stuff about I'm kind of scratching my head about. But as we keep going along, we'll learn more about him.
Yeah, I don't think we definitely haven't seen all the powers that Arthur Harrow's wielding as the avatar of Ammit. We did see in this episode he slammed that cane he walks around with into the ground, and it brought some kind of magic out of the ground, which kind of harkened back to, it had the same colors, the magic that Agatha Harkness used in WandaVision.
You're right, it did. Purple look to it.
The chaos magic, I think it was called. And that might have a lot to do with being related to each other. I don't know if they'll actually tie it in story-wise, but when this episode rounded out, it was Stephen. The previous episode, it was Mark Specter in the mirrors trying to get Stephen to let him have control. And at the end of this episode, Stephen was in the mirrors trying to get Mark Specter to let him have control back. So it wakes up. The episode ends with Mark Specter waking up, and I can't remember the conversation he had with Khonshu at the end of that fight we just talked about, but he has some kind of conversation with Khonshu, and his solution, what Khonshu was concerned about, was that he go to Egypt to find the tomb of Ammit. Did it have something to do with Arthur Harrow having a possession of a relic? Yeah, he got the. That's something we're forgetting about. What was that? What's that relic he's Mark Specter had initially that Arthur Harrow?
He was fighting to keep him from getting. Then he ended up getting it, and it actually shows Arthur Harrow's character and the rest of his cult how to get in Egypt to where
it's a scarab. The scarab. Yeah. Arthur Harrow got control of that, so the only move for Khonshu and Mark Specter to make now was the conversation they had was that he go to Egypt, so it closes with him waking up in Egypt.
Right.
So that finished off episode 2. In another video, we'll do episode 3. Sometime in the next probably 3 or 4 days, we'll be dropping about 4 videos that you'll be getting. So without saying anything else about what we got coming, we'll cover episode 3 and episode 4. We'll get all these videos dropped and uploaded in the next 4 days or so.
Yep, we'll get current, and before you know it, it'll be time for Obi-Wan.
We'll get current, and then it'll be time for us to fall behind again.
There's always that possibility of happening. You never know when Romper Room will rear its ugly head again. That's an inside joke, I'm sure you know what it is.
We got Doctor Strange 2 coming out soon, man. That's probably the one I've been most excited for since Endgame.
Me too.
Yeah.
I was pretty excited about Spider-Man No Way. All the rumors, and we ended up not being disappointed with that.
Yeah, I was happy with that, but I wasn't as excited. I mean, Doctor Strange, Thor, Captain America, all these characters that they built up over the last 11 years, man. Sony's done absolutely nothing with Spider-Man other basically than what Marvel helped them do. And I can't get as excited about Spider-Man as I can Doctor Strange. I mean, we haven't seen anything from him other than the team-up movies. His origin movie was great.
Right.
So to see more about just him as a character, I'm interested in.
I will say this. I'm looking forward to Doctor Strange 2, as you well know. I've already got my ticket. But the only thing that concerns me, look, I like Sam Raimi. Sam Raimi was a good director. He's got a good track record. But Scott Derrickson, the previous director who did the first one, his vision for the second movie had involved one of my favorite Doctor Strange villains, Nightmare. And I'm afraid that I don't know if Nightmare is going to be in this one or not, but I think they're really losing a golden opportunity if they're not using that character. So that
I agree with you. I agree with you, man. I know nothing about the comics. We've talked about that before, but just as I'm introduced to these characters and I learn about these villains, that's the villain that in the Doctor Strange realm that I think is a great character to transfer onto the big screen, especially if you have the multiverse of madness. They said this was supposed to be the first horror movie in the MCU, and you have Doctor Strange and Scarlet Witch both referencing dreams and nightmares in the trailer. If you don't have him show up, man, what's your problem?
Well, I tell you, that's the thing. And again, Sam Raimi made his a lot of his claim to fame before the Spider-Man movies was doing horror. So that's why I still have some inside hope that maybe Nightmare will show up at some point. That maybe he's the one pulling the strings behind Wanda's visions and everything. Because apparently the Shumagorath is not going to be the villain for this film. But we'll just have to wait. I'm pretty excited.
Now, which Shumagorath is the multi-tentacled creature? Is that right?
Yeah, but that's not the creature that's in the trailer. Apparently, there's a rights issue. Imagine that with Universal Studios over that character. So I got confirmation that the Shumagorath is not the villain of this movie. But that would be a great opening for Nightmare.
Well, but they had Shumagorath in What If?
They might have referenced him. I don't know. Did they actually show the character or not?
I was pretty sure that was one of the characters that Doctor Strange was taking all of the powers from.
Well, you got to remember, too, there's a difference between live action and animation rights.
This is true.
So that's probably what you're looking at there.
Yeah. But when I seen that character in Doctor Strange trailer, I thought for sure that's who it was. Right. I didn't know any better. So, yeah, hopefully Nightmare's in there, man. That's what I'm hoping. I haven't said anything to you about it over the past couple of years, but I'm aware of who that character is, and I think that's a great character to introduce.
Oh, he's one of the Fear Lords, and I'm telling you, I've had visions of guys who I think would be perfect to play him, and I tell you, they could just get it done. It'd be great.
Yeah. All right, man. We'll wrap this video up. Remember, if you like our videos, man, like our videos, subscribe to the channel, share our videos is the best way to help us out.
Right.
So that we can grow the channel and hit the notification bell, leave a comment in the comment section below, and that'll do it for this video. And you guys have a good evening. See you later.
Remember, high ground is overrated. Promise you.